heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Mayor Frank Jackson and the City of Cleveland are committed to keeping your neighborhood clean and green through the use of the city-issued trash and recycling carts. It's safe, convenient, and mandatory. For more information, contact the Cleveland Division of Waste Collection at 216-664-3717.
I'm Marianne Cross. I'm President and CEO of Cleveland Leadership Center, and I want to thank you for being here tonight to support great ideas to change Cleveland. Cleveland Leadership Center is celebrating our 10th anniversary year this year, so Accelerate not only kicks off some great ideas, it kicks off our 10th anniversary year and lots of celebration. We're going to be recognizing many of the leaders who have been through our programs and have gone on to effect great change, implementing great ideas, very similar to some of those that you saw here tonight. This event would not be possible without the support of many civic and business leaders who make this event all that it can be. In particular, I want to recognize some of our category sponsors who stepped forward in partnership to really allow us to deliver quality presentations in many of the categories. Cuyahoga Community College for their partnership in transforming education, Metro Health System for their partnership in quality of life category, Oswald Companies and Westfield Insurance Foundation for their partnership in delivering the economic development category. And of course, our presenting sponsor who made Accelerate 2016 Citizens Make Change Possible, Citizens Bank. Please join me, big round of applause for Citizens Bank. Please join me in recognizing and thanking the two co-chairs of this event. Of course, Joe Duraco, President of Citizens Bank Ohio, and Larry Oscar, Managing Partner of Hahn Lozier and Parks and Chair of the Cleveland Leadership Center Board. I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Well, good evening, everybody. Marianne, thank you very much. Appreciate the kind words. And welcome to Accelerate 2016, Citizens Make Change. You know, really proud to be part of this program tonight because when you think about what it represents, it's ideas from individuals that are looking to improve our community day in and day out in what they do. And we're going to have an opportunity to see some of those come to fruition tonight. So when we started this, we had over 65 submissions. Those 65 submissions were then narrowed down to 25. There were a couple committees that worked on doing that. I'm going to tell you that was a very difficult job because there are some great ideas out there. Those 25 had an opportunity to present tonight, and now we're going to be down to the 5 finalists from each category, which everybody in the audience is going to have an opportunity to hear what their ideas are, see what their dreams are. And the reality is this: people make a difference, and people make change. So we're proud to be part of it. At Citizens, we believe in giving back into the communities where we live and we work. And this is part of giving back when we can strengthen the community by finding wonderful, strong, great ideas from individuals, finding ways we can get them put into place in working. It's also a privilege to be associated with the Cleveland Leadership Center. It's one of the best organizations out there. We really appreciate everything they do for our entire community. And it is their 10th anniversary this year. And when you think about what they've accomplished in our city, for being around for 10 years, it's really pretty impressive. And I think there are many, many great things to come in the next 10 years. So we have an opportunity tonight. We're going to hear 5 individuals coming from very different backgrounds, different thoughts, different ideas, and we're going to see how their ideas apply to improving life here in Northeast Ohio and Cleveland. And I want to say thank you as well to everybody else that's here. It's a comment that I've heard probably about a dozen times tonight from people that are presenters or perhaps somebody that's just here that has some thoughts and ideas, and that's that there's a lot of collaborative effort that's within this group. So we think about the civic leaders, the business leaders, the community leaders, everybody we have here tonight is actually engaged and ready to try and make a difference in Northeast Ohio. So thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for your time that you have tonight. And don't forget, use your phones, vote while we're having the presentations tonight, and please don't forget hashtag #AccelerateNEO when you do that. And at this time, I want to invite up my co-chair, Larry Oscar. And Larry is he's also the chairman for the Cleveland Leadership Center, and he's the managing partner for Han Lozier. Larry.
Thanks, Joe. I know you're all excited to hear a lawyer talk for 15 or 20 minutes. So, no, I'm going to just thank Joe so much and citizens for the fantastic act of stepping forward and igniting Accelerate 2016. It's really fabulous and really important for the city of Cleveland. I also want to thank our category sponsors personally, Cuyahoga Community College, Metro Health, Oswald, and Westfield Insurance Foundation. They have really been there, not just this year, but many years, supporting the Cleveland Leadership Center and our community. And none of this happens without all the people that are here. So we're all connecting Cleveland. You're here because you love Cleveland. And so I just want to thank everyone for being here, whether you just happened to hear about it yesterday and come, or you've been thinking about it for a year since last year's inaugural Accelerate. And let me just show you how many people are involved in all this. So let me ask the people to stand. Our category judges, our host committee, please stand. Our board members, our CLC board members, Citizens Bank staff, and our volunteers. So please take a look around and give a round of applause to all these volunteers. I'm really excited to hear these pitches, and we're banking on these ideas. The city of Cleveland is banking on all of us to put forward great ideas and drive us forward into CLC's next 10 years and to well beyond 200 years for the city of Cleveland. So we're super excited about that. Thank you very much. Marianne?
So the vision behind Accelerate is to allow individuals who have great ideas to be able to share them and move them forward from idea to reality. If you were here last year, you heard Matt Fieldman present on his idea of Cleveland codes. So I'm going to call Matt back to the stage a year later so he can share with you where his idea is now. Matt?
Wow, so it's been a year, and I want to start by thanking the Cleveland Leadership Center for having the cojones to hold Accelerate 2015. It was awesome, and my idea of Cleveland Codes really was springboarded by it, but lots of other initiatives were also launched, and there were just so many great ideas and so many great people that presented them. So many great things came out of it. This event has a real impact on our city, and your being here tonight will have a tremendous impact on our city. So I want to start by talking to the finalists. Hi. So I want to tell you that winning Accelerate is the toughest, most demanding prize you will ever win. It's like you get a check for $5,000 and the eyeballs of 4 million people waiting for you to make your idea a reality. For me, at one point, the idea was in dire straits, and really it's only because of the attention from Accelerate, particularly the media attention that came out of it, that really kept the idea going. So, and it was really surprising for me because, as some of you know, I helped start Edwin's restaurant, and I thought it would be easy. I've done one social enterprise, you can do them all. That's not the way it works, particularly when you're trying to start one of the nation's first nonprofit software boot camps, which is what Cleveland Codes is. So luckily, through the media coverage, I was connected to the dean of the IT Center of Excellence at Tri-C at Cuyahoga Community College. Her name is Dr. Monique Wilson, and I told her about the idea, and she loved it. And she went to bat at Tri-C and assembled the resources to make it happen. So they put together the Cleveland Codes curriculum. They hired a couple of staff members. So Mark and Seth have been out there manning the table if you want to hear more about it. And they put together the resources necessary to get this to launch. So that's enough background info on the story. Do you want to hear where we are? Yeah. Great. So first we created an online assessment to get a sense of where applicants are in their technical and knowledge. Then we created a massive marketing campaign to local nonprofits to let them know that this was going on and get their buy-in so that they can get their young people involved and get them to apply. We solidified a funding partnership with Ohio Means Jobs that will make tuition for Cleveland Codes as affordable as $500 per student. That will cover their laptop, 4 months of training, lunch every day, and then they'll move into a 8 to 12 week paid internship immediately afterwards. So that'll be really exciting. We also secured enough funding from between this and a gift from the Business of Good Foundation to hire a student success officer to help the students with tutoring and mentoring and soft skills and any issues they're dealing with outside the classroom. So, to date, we've had over 100 applications for the 18 spots through Cleveland Codes, and classes start March 14th. Thanks. Now, of course, a quick plug for how you can get involved. 2 quick things. We're always looking to deepen our bench of instructors. So if you know anybody who knows coding and might be interested in teaching, please let us know. And also, we're looking for paid internships at digital companies or just big companies that have web departments. So if you know anybody, please connect us. Again, the Cleveland Codes table is out there. You can talk to them. You can talk to me, whatever it might be. But this is now our idea. You guys voted for it last year. So here it is. Go for it. We're trying to create a national model of what a nonprofit, affordable software bootcamp can be to fill the 1 million coding jobs that are going to be open in this country by 2020. So it's ours, and hopefully you can contribute to make it happen. To everyone competing tonight, as I said, winning this is incredibly challenging. Just know that going into it. You'll have to balance your job, you'll have to balance your family, but also know that it is incredibly rewarding. And I want to say to those who don't win, this room, now have hundreds of supporters who are here to support you and help make your idea happen. Tap them, use them. Plenty of people will volunteer their time and energy and expertise to help you make your idea happen. So thank you to everyone for supporting Accelerate, for supporting Cleveland Codes. Accelerate and Cleveland Codes are a clear demonstration of how events like this move our region forward. And we are just, the Cleveland Codes team, we're just so excited to keep making Cleveland an awesome place to live. Thank you.
So Matt is just one of many success stories from last year's Accelerate, and I hope that you had a chance to visit some of the tables outside in the lobby area where some of the presenters from last year were there to share their great idea, to enlist your support, and help move it forward. You had 25 ideas that you didn't get to hear tonight. You probably only got to hear a few, but they're in your booklet. Those ideas can advance, yes, by getting an infusion of cash, that's always a great thing, but also by any introduction or connection that you might be able to make to help them move their idea forward. So take a look at them. If you can't reach the presenter, contact us and we'll help to make that connection happen so that we can have many success stories like Matt's. So in our 10th anniversary year, we're going to be looking at our impact. And we're hoping to also be able to track the impact of the 5 of you. So look for emails and visit our website for dates as to when our 10th anniversary events will happen and when we're going to have follow-up check-in events with our 5 presenters this evening. So you've heard enough from all of us, and now you really want to hear from the 5 of them. So let me invite up our 2 stellar MCs for the evening, back by popular demand. We have Kelly Stewart, the general manager of the Ritz-Carlton, and Mike McIntyre from WVIZ Idea Stream and the Plain Dealer.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. How about one more round of applause for me and Kelly? One more. I like the way that feels. I am Mike McIntyre, I write the tip-off column for The Plain Dealer, and I host a show on WCPN, Idea Stream 90.3. I've just invited the 5 finalists to be on the show tomorrow, so I hope you'll listen tomorrow morning at 9, and we're going to hear some of these great ideas. And this, right beside me, is the very ritzy Kelly Stewart. She's the general manager of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in downtown Cleveland. And we've got to show some love right now for our house band because they have the power to drown us out if we don't. One more time for the Trash Talkers of St. Edward High School. Let's hear it, guys. Very well done. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Couldn't have asked for more.
Mike, isn't it nice to know that this is our Accelerate second-year marriage in doing this again?
Wow. Still together.
So I'm honored, I know it is an awe. I'm honored that Cleveland Leadership Center has brought us together again, and we continue to network. And really, isn't that what Accelerate is all about? It's about bringing community leaders together, powerful community leaders in this room, and making new connections, improving our wonderful city of Cleveland. I mean, look around this room. These are the individuals who continue to make positive change in the CLE.
You remember last year, I wasn't quite sure what the concept was. It was coming up with an idea to improve the community. And you remember what I thought last year? I thought it was a great idea that if we took something that was already orange and we made it even oranger, how that would work. That was a loser. That one did not work. So I've got another idea. Can I share it?
I'm very afraid, but yes, go ahead, Mike.
What if you took a casino that already has a very lucky name, right? And you gave it like some guy's name, like Kyle or Connor or Jack. How about that? What do you think of that idea?
I think keep trying.
It would be named exactly after what you have when you leave the casino, right? You leave with Jack. You have absolute Jack. Not a good idea?
Not a good idea, Mike.
Another thought I had was, or I guess it was better, I had submitted an idea that it was called Crushing Debt Casino. That's not good, right? This one's better.
I think Jack is way better, Mike.
I'm going to tell you, I will keep working on it, and before the end of the night, I'm going to have an idea, maybe not as good as these 5, but it's going to be one that you're going to like.
Finalist, I need your help. So I love your ideas, and I loved hearing the 25 pitches today. And Accelerate features compelling, innovative, and creative civic pitches by local residents who have had great ideas to improve Cleveland. We've had the 5 categories, as Joe said. We've had the 5 topics, totaling 25. My math is great there. And judges in the category decided on which finalists will present to all of us tonight.
And to Matt's point earlier, there are 20 semifinalists who didn't get onto this stage, and there's 4 more of these finalists who won't get the ultimate grand prize. But they're definitely worthy of your attention. They've got great ideas. And if you got any money, Jose Feliciano Sr. and anyone else in the room, they could use an infusion of cash too. So they make sure to check with them a little bit later in the show.
Okay, so tonight we're going to concentrate on these 5 finalists, fabulous finalists. And we're going to hear each the pitch categories, which include community change, economic development, in partnership with Oswald Companies and Westfield Insurance Foundation, educating for tomorrow, in partnership with Cuyahoga Community College, quality of life, in partnership with the Metro Health Systems,
And me.
transformative arts and culture, and each finalist will have 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, to make their pitch to all of us. Our judges had a tough job today, but you, the audience, will have an even tougher job. After hearing 5 pitches, you will vote on an overall winner, that's 1, to receive the grand prize of $5,000, and then each of the 4 runners-up will get $2,000. Not so bad, is it, Mike?
Not bad at all. The pitches will be presented alphabetically by the category that they were entered in. After the last pitch, you're going to get a chance to vote by calling or texting a number on the screen, not both, one or the other. We're going to have it up on the screen right over here. The instructions are also in your program book, and they'll be repeated on the screen when it's time to vote, so don't worry. If you miss this information, we'll tell you again later when it's time to vote. And remember, right now, you can tweet right now using the hashtag AccelerateNEO. So feel free to make sure your phones are off so you don't interrupt the pitches, but make sure they're on silent, but not that they're off, that they're on and you can still tweet. We'd love to have you guys do it. I see you're tweeting in the front here already. Very good, thank you. And
So, you know what, Mike? I think this is a good time for a selfie. Let's do this. Let's tweet it out.
it's just like Ellen. She got the top of my head. That's going to be great. By the way, that's at Michael McIntyre, and I kid you not, at Buckeye Girl.
All right. So the first finalist...
That's what her Twitter handle is.
Is-
It's not,
The first finalist in the community change category. And this refers to initiatives in making a meaningful change in people's lives and the neighborhoods. The judges in this category are top-notch, Mike. They include Jose Feliciano Sr., Baker and Hostetler,
Who also has
LLP.
some money that he can give,
Oh, great. Great to know.
right?
No, not putting you on the spot there. Ann Goodman from St. Luke's Foundation, and Chris Quinn, Cleveland.com.
Also in that category, judges Chris Ronayne of University Circle Incorporated and Ann Zoller of Land Studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will assist us with the finalists in the Community Change category, please welcome to the stage the category Motherboard.
Come on up.
Wow, what a thrill to be here. I am Jessica Allen, and I'm here today to talk to you about Motherboard. Motherboard is an online platform that connects our area's amazing not-for-profit organizations with a smart, educated workforce that is ready to jump in and get involved in projects around Cleveland. And that workforce comes to us in the form of mothers wishing to opt back in after taking some time out of work. So let me tell you a little bit about how Motherboard came to be for me. I was always very career-oriented. When other little girls were dressing their Barbie dolls up as brides and prom queens, I was turning mine into the first female Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I went to college, I had fabulous internships around the city of Cleveland, and I launched a career, and it was awesome. And about 10 or 11 years in, I became a mom, went back to work full-time, and 2 years later, as luck would have it, had identical twin daughters. With 3 kids under the age of 3, my husband and I could not manage 2 careers at once, and frankly, I was working at the City Club in my absolute dream job, but my salary didn't warrant paying for 3 kids to be in daycare, so I opted out. I didn't really know what I was going to do, so I joined a playgroup. I was driving to my first playgroup, and I thought, what am I going to have in common with these women? And I walk in and I meet a Weatherhead MBA, I meet an attorney, a speech pathologist, a small business owner, and I think, these are my people. These are my people. And it was wonderful. I met so many smart, educated, professional women who were doing the same thing that I was. Excuse me, I lost my train of thought for a second. So fast forward, I ended up re-entering the workforce and serving as an executive director of a small community not-for-profit arts center. At that point, I was balancing a lot, family and work, and one thing that continued to happen at work is I was identifying these little holes in our process, things we couldn't quite get done in the organization. So for example, we needed somebody to come in and reconcile our checkbook once a month. We needed somebody to come in and explain social media to our staff. And so I started to call upon these women that I had gotten to know over the years as a mom, and I started to bring them over into our organization as 1099 contract employees to help us with projects as we needed help. I continued to do that for the next 4 or 5 years throughout my career, make matches, connect people, and I started to think, why isn't anybody doing this on a grander scale? So I did a little market research and found out that really nobody was doing it on a grander scale. And so I decided that I would create Motherboard. So Motherboard, again, it's an online platform, so it's a peer-to-peer thing. So think about Uber, think about Match.com, think about something that's connecting 2 different groups of people that can help each other. That's what Motherboard does. So it doesn't stop there. It doesn't just connect these people. We have this incredible, talented workforce in Cleveland in the form of professional women who are wanting to do work. We're going to take those women, we're going to train them, we're going to do webinars. So for example, we'll give them the skills to build up their LinkedIn page. We'll teach them, how do you talk about being a PTO chair? I actually know that it's harder than running a Fortune 500 company at times. But how do we help them talk about what they've done, help build their self-efficacy, and then at the same time introduce them to these amazing not-for-profit organizations in Cleveland? There is so much happening in Cleveland. If we can take somebody who spent 10 years as a McKinsey consultant and then opted out for a few years and introduce them to what I know as the absolute joy and fulfillment of working in the not-for-profit sector, I think it's a win-win. So a little more about the logistics of Motherboard. It will be a 501c3. I anticipate that it will be self-sustaining. So mothers who wish to use the services of Motherboard will have the chance to do so for a flat monthly fee. I'm thinking $10 a month, maybe a little break if you join for the year. And at the same time, business or not-for-profits who use it will pay a per hire fee. So every time they make a hire, they'll pay a little fee to Motherboard for us helping them to make that match. It'll also use a multi-user rating system. So for anyone who's done Airbnb, you rate the host rates you. It's the same kind of thing. So as people move forward through the motherboard process and do more projects, they get ratings, builds their self-efficacy. The not-for-profits have a better sense of who the people are that they're looking to hire. I can hit the ground running with this tomorrow. This is replicable. It's something that I haven't seen done anywhere else. I think Cleveland can be on the mark, can do great. This can go really well. I'm watching my clock. Goodness. Thank you. I'm ready. I hope you'll consider Motherboard, and I appreciate your time.
And that's Motherboard. I was thinking maybe we could also have some like a fatherboard, where we'll connect with each other and say you've got a son in the audience or somewhere here that needs to be embarrassed, and then you do that, and it, by telling lame jokes or by calling them out in the trash talkers, as Aiden McIntyre is here.
You knew that was coming, right?
Dual
All right,
rating
this
system.
next category, let us get back on track, is about economic development. Mike, why don't you tell us about that?
The economic development pitches, in partnership with Oswald Companies and Westfield Insurance Foundation, address poverty and economic self-sufficiency or stimulating economic growth. And here's another high-powered panel of judges: Mickey Burns from WKYC, Joe Marinucci of Downtown Cleveland Alliance, Marcia Maccabee of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.
Jill Rizica, Towards Employment. Brad Whitehead, the Fund for Our Economic Future.
All right, get ready to welcome to the stage the finalists for economic development, Good Cause CLE. Come on up.
Hi. Oh, good, you can hear me. Thank you so much, first and foremost, for the opportunity to be up here. My name's Pam Toros, and I'm a social worker. I'm also the co-founder of Good Cause Creative, where we specialize in helping nonprofits and socially conscious businesses tell their stories online. The idea I'm here to share with you tonight is called Good Cause Cleveland. This is an online platform where we celebrate, uplift, and empower all the organizations who are doing great work in Northeast Ohio. There are lots of wonderful blogs and places you can go online that'll tell you where to eat, where to shop, and where to play. But where do you go if you want to know where you can give back your time and money to do the most good? GoodCauseCLE.com will be the place you can go. This idea really started a couple of years ago when I was still working as a social worker, and I volunteered at the Homeless Stand Down right here in Cleveland Public Auditorium. This is an all-day event where we invite homeless individuals in from the community for a day of warmth and personal services and positive energy. A young man came to the front of the clothing line after waiting several hours at that point. And with a smile on his face, he said, "I don't need a hat, I don't need gloves, I don't need a coat, I just really need a warm pair of boots." I instinctively looked down at his soaking wet canvas tennis shoes and his water-stained pants, and I knew that the boots had been gone for over an hour at that point. We went together, and I secretly prayed that maybe under the table there was a size 11 that nobody had found yet. We weren't that lucky. He left without boots, and I left feeling terrible that there wasn't anything I could do. I went home, and that evening I wrote about it on my personal Facebook page. Just a short paragraph saying what it felt like to look him in the eye and to send him back out into the cold. That Facebook post, it raised almost $2,000. And the following year, I brought a van full of warm, waterproof winter boots with me to the Homeless Stand Down. The reason I share that story with you tonight is because it was the first time I learned how my ability to connect with the human side of a story could help organizations that I cared about. I went on to volunteer and do some writing for a couple of causes that were important to me. After that, I got some paid writing opportunities. And now, with the help of my husband and his colleagues, who are experts at digital marketing and web development for some of Cleveland's biggest employers, we're offering affordable online solutions for nonprofits who want to develop a presence online. But my clients have a big challenge, and it's something I think a lot of the presenters here tonight can relate to. If you're 1, 2, or even 10 people doing the big job of trying to make the world a better place, there's a good chance you don't have the time or resources to really focus on things like website optimization, search engine, Google Analytics, inbound marketing, and social media campaigns. But those are the things that drive traffic to a website. And in the world of web development, it's just not true that if you build it, they will come. So, one of my clients who's actually here tonight knows this story all too well. They've been working in the foster care system in Ohio, Mike and Shannon from Waiting Child Fund, since 2005, They've been advocating for kids in foster care. They started out helping individual kids, and now they're working for statewide change. But guess what? Mike and Shannon don't have time to tweet about it. They're not writing elaborate blog posts about what amazing work they're doing to transform foster care in Northeast Ohio. They're too busy changing kids' lives. So the challenge is, how do we get large numbers of caring people connected with the organizations who need their support? Mike and Shannon, we're in the process of applying for grant funding to build them a better website. We're working with them on social media, but I'm just one person, and there's almost 5,000 nonprofits in Northeast Ohio alone, and I think there's going to be a few more after tonight. It's like we're all standing out in the middle of the desert, hoping if we scream loud enough, someone will hear our message and support what we're doing. So how do we connect all these wonderful caring people with the causes who need their support? Good Cause Cleveland will be the solution. Using the money from tonight's competition, I'll pay for shared advertising, creative digital marketing strategies, and some other writers so we can tell as many stories as possible. We'll build an audience of people who are excited and ready to help. And the best part is you don't have to be a client of Good Cause Creative in order to be a part of our community. You just have to believe in the power of story or be doing great work in Northeast Ohio. And you also have to believe that together we can do more than any one of us can do alone. How many of you tonight could spare $1 or maybe a pair of warm boots for a cause that really spoke to your heart? Good Cause Cleveland will be a place you can do that. Personally, I wish I had time to write a story about every organization and great idea tonight and share their message with the world. By voting for Good Cause Cleveland, you can help me do that. Thank you so much for your time.
Next up, right, is the Educating for Tomorrow in partnership with Cuyahoga Community College.
So the Educating for Tomorrow pitch features advancing access to educational development. The judges in this category, Rich Clark, St. Martin de Porres High School, Marianne Corrigan Davis, St. Joseph Academy, Anne-Marie Grassi, Open Doors Academy.
Also, J. Michael Thompson, Cuyahoga Community College, and John Zitzner, Friends of Breakthrough School and serial emailer. Everybody here knows that.
The finalist in Educating for Tomorrow is Families Building Future Leaders.
Let's hear it.
Welcome to the stage.
Families Building Future Leaders has one focus. We use this simple box to help parents know how to adequately prepare their child so they can come into kindergarten where they need to be. My name is Ben Colas. I've been teaching kindergarten in inner city Cleveland for the past several years. First at a charter school through Teach for America, and now in Cleveland Public at one of the investment schools. Here's the problem. Kids are coming into school significantly behind. For example, you should come into kindergarten knowing your letters. This year, 1 out of 26 of my kids did. You should recognize numbers up to 10. 2 kids did. You should be able to write your first name. Many of my kids had never held a pencil before. Odds are, if you come in behind, you're likely to stay behind. At my school, just 2 years ago, only 7% of 3rd graders read on grade level. Now by 4th grade, if you aren't proficient in reading, you have a 2 in 3 chance of ending up in jail or on welfare. But rather than give you another statistic, I'd like you to see some faces. These are some of my students. They all came into school significantly behind. Nevertheless, these are kids. Kids made in God's image. Kids with unique skills, personalities, passions, dreams. The odds of them living the life we dream of our own kids having is slim. I refuse to accept that, and that is why I'm starting Families Building Future Leaders. Here's how it works. Phase 1. We're focusing on the root of the problem. See, right now, you could show up to school with a birth certificate and shot records. You got your child registered, and you're told, great, we'll see you in August. That's it. See, in here we have what your child needs to know coming into kindergarten, and here's the important part, how you as a parent can help your child learn those skills. See, rather than saying your child needs to know how to count, how to categorize things, and recognize one-to-one correspondence, we have stuff kids love. Fruit Loops, Skittles. We explain how parents can use these to teach those skills. The kids love it, they eat it, parents love them too. Saying to a parent, your child needs to know their letters, does absolutely nothing to help parents know how to teach letters to their kids. So in here we have stuff like shaving cream, Play-Doh, rice, and an explanation for families of how they can use these to lay the foundation for literacy. See, I know this will work because I see the power of parents and families every single day. I have one girl who came in this year who knew no letters and no numbers. Right now she is reading and can even do some multiplication. This is because she has a mom who is willing to do whatever she can to support her daughter. And I see that from so many parents. But one thing mom said to me was, Mr. Colas, I had no idea my daughter needed to know letters and numbers coming in. I assumed she'd learn everything at school. See, every parent wants to help their kid, and they want their kid to succeed. It's a matter of giving them the tools so they can effectively help their kids. With seed money, could run a pilot program at the start of the summer with parents of 4 and 5-year-olds. We make any adjustments as necessary, and then come August, we can be offering this to both district and charter schools throughout the city, risk-free. We give it out, we do a very brief diagnostic, we follow up a little bit later. This will give us concrete data to prove its effectiveness. Now, assuming the data is showing growth, we move on to phase 2. We get different Cleveland organizations, the Cavs, the Zoo, East 4th restaurants, whoever, on board. We come up with projects requiring higher level thinking from kids and family involvement. Those that participate have opportunities to have memorable experiences. Maybe you get to see tigers being fed, and maybe you get to see the locker rooms at the Q, something like that. Education can change lives. I want my kids to have the skills and character to lead their neighborhoods. See, 5, 10 years down the road, these faces right here can have far more of an impact on bringing positive change to their communities than I ever could. Families are a child's greatest asset. Let's support them and partner with them to develop these future leaders. Thank you.
The fourth category tonight is quality of life, right? Quality of life initiatives. They're initiatives that impact life experiences, including health, recreation, and social services. The prestigious judges were Sharon Sobel Jordan of Cuyahoga County, Enid Rosenberg, community volunteer leader, and Tony Broncatelli from Cleveland City Council.
And also Robin Minter-Smyers, Thompson Hine LLP, and Brian Zimmerman, CEO of Cleveland Metro Parks.
All right, let's hear it now for the finalist in quality of life. It's Bus Stop Moves. Come on up.
Raise your hand if you wish it was easier to fit fitness into your daily routine. Come on, we all do. And now there is. Introducing Bus Stop Moves, where whether you have 5 minutes or 20 minutes, you can make a positive impact on your health. My name is Allison Lucasy. I'm an architect, artist, community activist, and I'm also an RTA rider. I created Bus Stop Moves in fall 2015 and launched it in North Collinwood, the neighborhood in which I live, thanks to a grant focused on arts and health. Now I'm here to spread that into other Cleveland neighborhoods. And with only $400 per shelter, I can create 12 shelter stops with the $5,000 winning prize this spring. Think about that, low cost, high impact. Bus Stop Moves is a partner with Metro Health and their community outreach program and medical director, Dr. Eileen C. Holzer, and the RTA's Adopt a Shelter program, which, if you didn't know, is free to any individual or business. I found that there was a lot of idle time involved in waiting for the bus. I also make the excuse that I don't have enough time to exercise, and I know I'm not alone in that. Bus Stop Moves is the solution. What it is translucent vinyl wraps that are adhered to older style RTA shelters. There's 4 of them, and they're illustrated with exercises that anyone of reasonable mobility can do in street clothes because you're on your way to work or school. There's exercises that you can do sitting down, and there's exercises that you can even do in a wheelchair. And there's all sorts of things that you can do to modify them. For instance, bring a reusable water bottle that's filled and add it for weight resistance and hydration. Each shelter is themed a little bit differently. So the one that's pictured here is at the corner of East 156th and Grovewood, and it's all about reducing stress. So this one is based a lot on yoga stretches. There's one that's a little bit closer and on a main route to the Collinwood High School, and that's really about increasing your energy. So there we have moves that are really going to get your blood pumping, and the teenagers seem to really respond to that. Every shelter also has a panel called Take It to the Streets, and that actually connects to the neighborhood. So it tells you how many steps away to the more traditional place of recreation, like a metro park or a recreation center. And it's also really great for people who don't happen to be taking the bus, but can interface with it because they're walking a dog or jogging. And it's a great way to introduce some strength training and stretching into your exercise routine. These shelters, so there's 3 of them currently, and they've been up for about 4 months. They also have QR codes on them so that you can go to Metro Health's Facebook page and the Bus Stop Moves Facebook page, which anyone can see that content. You don't actually have to be a Facebook user. And you can post yourself using the shelters, and I post a lot of exercises and routines that you might actually find helpful at your day job as well. Unfortunately, a sedentary lifestyle and heart disease and diabetes are challenges in our community, and Bus Stop Move's mission is to really make an impact on people's perception about the right time and the right place to exercise by using a public canvas that already exists and needs a little bit of beautification. The message is put out there loud and clear. Before I designed these, I held a community meeting to gauge how people would really use the shelter. Some people were more comfortable with doing gentle calf raises that you hardly notice I'm doing. Other people were more comfortable doing a solo dance choreography. So we have a whole range of opportunities there, and I think that this project can really be impactful for a lot of other Cleveland neighborhoods. So I've applied through Neighborhood Connections to implement more of these in my own community of Collinwood, and I'm here today to pitch to infiltrate them into other Cleveland neighborhoods. I plan to put out a community survey that will reach audiences like the HEAL Project or HIP Cuyahoga to really identify local stakeholders in those communities that can interact with their local businesses or individuals or schools that are interested in using the RTA's Adopt a Shelter program to implement this program in their community. Again, $400 per shelter. That includes my design, the printing, the installation, and the proposed maintenance cost, which about maybe every eight months, a piece of the shelter may have to be replaced. So again, 12 shelters this spring, low cost, huge impact. This is a really innovative project that anyone can get behind, whether or not you're an RTA user. And I challenge you, next time you're waiting for the bus, don't just stand there. Bust a move at Bus Stop Moves. Thank you.
Finally, our last category is Transformative Arts and Culture. This initiative uses arts and culture to transform people and places. Celebrity judges include Raymond Bobgin, Cleveland Public Theater, Karen Gall Mills, Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, and Ivan Schwartz, Greater Cleveland Film Commission.
Also, Gina Bernacci from Playhouse Square and Sean Watterson from The Happy Dog. The Transformative Arts and Culture finalist is Accidental Comedy Fest, and here is Accidental Comedy Fest.
Thank you. Give it up for all the people who presented so far tonight. All great ideas. People trying to do cool stuff in Cleveland. As he said, my name is Ramon Rivas. I'm a stand-up comedian. I live in Lorain with my dad, and all I do is comedy in Cleveland for the most part. I've been producing shows around town since 2010, and I just really love being a comedic ambassador and making sure that when people come to town, they have a experience that changes the narrative of what they thought Cleveland was. Definitely nationally, Cleveland is on its way up. And I feel that within the city, comedy is kind of reaching this point where people kind of hear about something's going on. I love Cleveland a lot. I love Cleveland so much, I recently wrote a list of ways you know you're from Cleveland, the first of which is you have no idea when the West Side Market's open. But there's all of these, but the West Side Market's an example of a institution in Cleveland that is revered and respected and everyone knows about. And a couple years ago, I started doing a comedy festival called Accidental Comedy Fest. And hopefully that will become something that is also a foundational fixture for the city. Since I've been producing shows in 2010, back then I made an aim to bring out comics who I'm a fan of, who for whatever reasons don't work at the two comedy clubs in town, Hilarities and the Improv. And I just reached out to people I'm a fan of, and I was able in 2010 to bring out In Order, Hannibal Buress, Neil Brennan, Nikki Glazer, Amy Schumer, and Trevor Noah, all of which who have TV shows. I'm not claiming their fame that I'm directly responsible for, but I just I just have a good eye for talent, and because of the way I do comedy, I'm able to kind of meet these people and make connections. And the festival winds up being a lot of people coming to Cleveland just kind of based off my reputation. In my travels, I've gotten to go to New York, Chicago, and LA, and I've seen that all that makes those cities great for comedy is that there's a lot of rooms happening and there's a lot of artists, and there's nothing inherently different about those cities than what's happening in Cleveland. So I've just kind of made a point to put together events throughout the year that can bring people together as a community. And we've done everything to date through kind of word of mouth and social media, and we've got a really rabid fan base. Last year, the festival was the 4th year, and we had over 1,000 people come to the 3-day event. We were able to bring in artists from all over the country, which was really great. And it's an offshoot of the first 3 years I did it, I was by myself putting the festival together and pulling a lot of favors. And last year was the first year that a group called Accidental Comedy Club, which I founded. It's a collection of artists dedicated to enriching the arts in Cleveland through live comedy performances and other productions. And it's me and 4 other members who I feel will be the next generation of comedic ambassadors for the city. And really, honestly, Cleveland is right on the cusp of being a hub for comedy in the country. We have 2 great comedy clubs. Hilarities is one of the most beautiful places in the country. The Improv was one of the first improv locations that wasn't in Hollywood. And there's just a rich history of comics. Steve Harvey, Drew Carey, Bob Hope all spent time in Cleveland and cut their teeth here. So it's been great to kind of open the door for future generations and current generations to get their feet wet and continue to do this thing as more than just a hobby. We want to be more than just professional comics. We really want to make the city proud with what we do. So normally the way a comedy festival works is a comic pays to submit, and then you get accepted or rejected. If you get accepted, you have to pay for your flight out there. You have to find somewhere to stay, which usually involves paying for a hotel. You got to buy your food. You got to buy your drink. So I just try to actively go against those things. The last few years, I've been able to rent out the entire Cleveland hostel so that artists can stay there. We've partnered with a couple different hospitality and food vendors to be able to feed and lodge and make sure people are drinking and they're not spending any extra money when they come to town. If I get this grant, I'll be able to give everyone a travel stipend so to offset their costs in that way. And comedy is such low overhead. Like I had a lady email me recently that she wanted to hire me to perform at her company's charity luncheon. There was no money, but she was working on getting me lunch. And I had to respond back, thanks for reaching out, but I'm just gonna stay home and definitely eat lunch. And I'm just working to try to continue establishing comedy as an art, as something that people will support, and is something that builds the city's brand and it's a way to engage the city the same way that Playhouse Square or Severance Hall is. So I hope you guys will support. It's August 26th through 28th at May Halls. Hope to see you. Bye.
So while we're waiting on the votes to be tallied, this is a good time to really thank Citizens Bank for supporting the prize awards, along with the category pitch competition partners of Cuyahoga Community College, the Metro Health Systems, Oswald Companies, and Westfield Insurance Foundation.
This is also, yeah, let's hear for those guys. Thank you. Sorry about that. This is also a real good time to announce a special award being given tonight, separate from your voting. It's the Sea Change Award. It's a social enterprise accelerator, Sea Change, SEA, Social Enterprise Accelerator, that supports people who have ideas to improve the community. And here to present tonight's Sea Change Award is Mike Sheferenko. Mike, come on up.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Mike works for IdeaStream, as I do. He's the manager of civic engagement, web, and social media. And IdeaStream is a partner organization of Sea Change. So let's just start with this. What is a social enterprise?
So social enterprise is an entity that works to improve the community, like many of the pitches we heard today, but does so by, they sustain themselves by selling goods or services. So they have revenue coming in because they're selling a product or providing a service.
And generally doing something good.
Well, they have to be doing something good.
Okay, you have to be doing something good.
Yes.
All right, good. I just wanted to
That's
get it
a
straight on.
requirement.
So what is Sea Change then as it relates to that?
So Sea Change, as you mentioned, is a social enterprise accelerator. So we accept people into the program and they go through a 12-week online course that's in partnership with Brown University and the Social Enterprise Greenhouse based in Providence, Rhode Island. And that's complemented with in-person training sessions where they get mentorship on all sorts of things related to building their enterprise. Then they have a pitch event very similar to this, which we are planning for May at this point. And then we have $60,000 that we will put into a number of these enterprises. This year we have 7 of them in the program. A number of them will share that $60,000.
And tonight you've listened to the pitches that happened. We mentioned there were 25 of them. You've taken a listen to them. You've examined what was going on, and you guys have come up with your favorite. It's not necessarily going to be the winner tonight because there's obviously more than one winner, but you have your own choice.
I do.
And let's hear it. Who's the winner of this?
Can I get a drum roll? We have selected, all right, thanks. Yeah, that's good, thanks.
Half a drum roll.
Yeah, half a drum roll. We've selected Rust Belt Riders as the Sea Change awardee today.
And that's Dan, is it Dan Brown?
That is Dan Brown.
No, Mike.
And maybe he can take a minute to explain what Rust Belt Riders is.
All right, come on up. Come on up. Oh, there you go. All right, so this is an expansion. We've talked about Rust Belt Riders before. In fact, you've been on the Sound of Ideas talking about it.
I have.
This is kind of a maturation of that idea. Tell me a little bit about what your pitch was tonight.
So my pitch tonight was about connecting the infrastructure and network that we've built out through working with growers, farmers, and chefs throughout Northeast Ohio to build out curriculum that we could develop in partnership with schools and teachers throughout Northeast Ohio.
Maybe I should back up for a second for anyone who doesn't know. What is Rust Belt Riders?
Sure. So Rust Belt Riders is an organic waste removal company that essentially we are garbage men that collects food waste from restaurants, grocery stores, cafes, and businesses across Northeast Ohio.
And then you eat it?
And then yes.
Because that sounds good to me.
We absolutely eat it. No, we work with a great nonprofit here in Cleveland called Rid All Green Partnership, and they operate a composting facility to help generate our food, turn the food waste that we collect into usable compost to grow more food.
And the idea of having curriculum is what? To teach young people how to do that, or how to eat healthy, or how to farm? What exactly?
The general theme is that we want to reconnect kids to the food system that they're actively a part of, whether they're aware of it or not.
Terrific. Let's hear it for Rust Belt Riders and Daniel Brown. You hand that there. And let's hear it for Mike Sheferenko from Sea Change.
Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations.
Okay.
So the ballots are in.
We
have a winner.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's take about an hour break, and then we're going to come back. Let's have, how about we do this? Why don't we have all 5, well, first of all, why don't you bring up the folks who are going to bring up our finalists, and then I'll bring them up.
Thank you. Joe DeRocca, would you please join us from Citizens Bank, please? And then also Larry Oscar from CLC to help us with the presentation.
And we'll be handing you the microphone in just a moment. But first, let's bring up all 5 of our finalists and have you all at the same time come on up and line up, and then we'll announce who you are. All 5 of our finalists back on stage for the awards presentations. Come on up. Line up right in front of us.
So in the community change category, we had Jessica Allen pitching Motherboard.
In economic development, Pam Toros pitching Good Cause CLE. With category partners, Christina Capadonna, the Director of Marketing and Communications, Christina Capadonna Schmitz, Director of Marketing and Communications of Oswald Companies, and Ed Largent of the Westfield Insurance Foundation.
In Educating for Tomorrow, we had Ben Colas pitching Families Building Future Leaders, and J. Michael Thompson, with Cuyahoga Community College.
In quality of life, Allison Lucasy pitching Bus Stop Moves, Rita Andelson, Communications Director of Metro Health Systems, is the partner in that one.
And in Transformative Arts and Culture, we had Ramon Rivas.
Rivas.
Rivas, pitching Accidental Comedy Fest.
All right. Actually, I think he just calls himself an eminent Latino. That's actually what you can call him. Ramon Rivas, eminent Latino. All right. I'm not kidding. It's his name. I'm not the one making it up. You each made a great pitch for your civic visions, and I'd like all of us to give you a round of applause now collectively. And now, Joe, Larry, I'm going to hand you guys the microphone. We're going to get a little bit of a drum roll, and Joe, you can announce our winner.
And the winner of Accelerate 2016, Ben Colas, Educating for Tomorrow.
Congratulations, Ben. Wow.
Congratulations. Okay, Ben wins the... Let's get out of the way. Ben wins the $5,000 first prize, but everybody up here is a winner. Everyone else wins a $2,000 prize as well. Let's hear it for them. And we're going to have those representatives that we mentioned earlier to present their gifts. They're going to take some pictures up here, folks. Great job tonight. Continue tweeting. And Kelly, we're going to be meeting outside for drinks in just a moment. You all can do that in just a second. And you guys can take your photos right now. Way to go. Good job.